I was interested on fish and coral since I was a little kid. My father used to take us to the ocean to fish and dive. And it became a passion. It became a necessity to just be around it. And when I came here, it was like, wow, you know what I mean? I'm going to see there's no ocean nearby. So I started doing it at home and to master it. And it became, you know what I mean, this great idea to grow into the business. And I decided that it'd be better if we grow the coral and sell it instead of taking it and taking it out of the ocean and then selling it. And that's why the business was founded. You know, I mean, with the idea of growing enough coral so we can supply the demand. Well, you can get a small piece and eventually it will grow over the whole rock like that for like 6 months, yeah. The customers I serve are people who are starting to take care of a tank and they have all these difficulties. So they come to us and we make it simple for them. We teach them how to do it and do it right. The big difference between a reef tank or a marine tank and a freshwater is the variety of life, all right? On a fresh water, you can have a certain fish, some plants, but on a salt water, you can have everything. I mean, it's amazing. It's like a soup. It's like a underwater jungle, a rainforest, underwater rainforest with a complete different ecosystem, you know, from the most minute microbacteria to the biggest organism like the fish and the coral. Your guideline is decide what you want for a tank, whether you want a reef tank or you just want a fish-only tank. And from there you can work, right? A fish-only tank, you can have any fish you want, even fish that eat coral. Now on a reef tank, you cannot put just any fish. You have to make sure that all the fish are reef safe and community fish. They will get along with each other. If you put fish that are going to be aggressive, this fish is going to be stressed. And it's going to die eventually because it's not going to eat. It will not move from the spot. It will be terrified. It's like putting you in a cage with a lion. Okay, so that's the approach I follow. I make sure that I get the fish, I study the fish, I research the fish, and then I'll decide where to put it into the tank. Once you have all the parameters, of course, the ammonia, pH, and nitrite, and all that is nice and settled on zero, that's when we sell you the fish or sell you the coral. We would not sell you a fish or coral if your water sample that you brought us is not right. If it's not right, I'm not going to sell you a fish. And that's because, you know, people buy a fish and they die and they get discouraged and they quit. And then as it opens, you have to feed it because you need light to grow. It needs food, so you must feed it like little pieces of meat, pieces of fish flesh. Yeah, and we'll do. A typical day in the greenhouse. Come in, you know, in the morning. We make sure the salt levels are fine. We test the water for salinity. And we make sure the water levels are fine. We make sure that all the fish are eating, you know, we feed all the fish. We clean the glass of the tanks. And we frack corals. We take corals and we keep dividing it. That's a typical day. And I keep doing it every day. Every day, the more I separate the corals, the more it will grow. There's a lot of people who do not know what a coral is. There's a lot of people who have never seen a coral firsthand. And the little importance that people give it. All right? Without a reef, there will be no fish for you and I to eat. Because big part of the food chain is the larvae of coral, the larvae of fish. It's plankton, so we call plankton, and different algae, and it's like a big soup of life. And people are not paying importance to it. People just go and dump the oil into the drain, and where that drain is going to end up in the river, from the river to the ocean. And that's why I want people to know. That's why I'm doing this. I want to be able to go back one day and put this back in the reef and show people what the beauty that is out there, and we just take it for granted every day. You know what I mean? Every day we look at the ocean and we just don't care. While every day I look at my tank and I'm amazed each time. You see what I mean? It is something within me. As a kid, my father used to take us diving and fishing and spear fishing. I remember my father pointing at a big stingray, and, you know what I mean? And look at that shark, and look at that fish. And I miss that. I need that. It's part of me. It's part of who I am. I mean, I could not thrive and survive without this. This is the best thing that ever happened to me, to realize who I am. Looking at these animals in this tank, it brought me a sense of looking at creation. Let's put it like this, design. I see design in each and every creature I see in a reef tank. Every time I sit down in my reef tank and I look at it, in any tank, I find something new. I mean, something new, a different creature with long tentacles picking little particles of food, you know what I mean? You find little shrimps running everywhere at night, and then when you try to also mimic the natural environment, you can actually see the plankton spawning. It's amazing. Wow. That's all I can say. That's the best way I can say it.